Gratitude, divines and divinettes. It's BreiEndia popping on here today. As you can see, I'm on a orange tone vibe today, and I'm popping in on my next word for the year. Thank you. Yes, we're talking about so color orange is the vibration we're on right now. Today the word is respect, and then the follow words are loyalty and solidity. And so focusing in on, going from the root chakra to the sacral chakra, and then the element is water. So if you are, into these things I'm speaking about, it's the sacral is a part of the lower chakras, yeah, but it's very important for not over having excessive boundaries, but also not having boundaries. So it's good to be able to find grounding in your sacral chakra for that. So yeah, on those vibes. So basically with the sacral, it's choosing to plan properly and not to resist change so that you can be able to have more creative, spark and spunk. It helps to enhance your creativity when your sacral chakra is open. And one of the most important things that the sacral chakra does is also enhance your sexual vibration and all. Your emotional intelligence needs to be tapped into. Your emotions in general can be tapped into, especially when you tap into your sacral. Fear and anger, I believe, are the two main things that can let you know that you have a blocked sacral chakra. And basically, if it's closed. I'll answer that by saying if it's closed by your attitude and how you are either ignoring or handling your emotions. So your emotions can let you know it's blocked if you're not able to tap into your own emotions. And also women and men that struggle with fertility issues, your sacral chakra plays a part in it. So if your sacral is blocked, it can cause just so many lack in the areas of our reproductive system. Because when I was mentioning in the last video about the alignment of the spiritual body with the physical body, the spiritual body of being the sacral chakra is beneath the belly button area. So when you look at the physical body structure, that aligns with the reproductive area of men and women. So down there is where the womb lies, the uterine area. Same for men, the reproductive area is there. So the sacral, you can tell if you have issues with your sexual desire, sexual passion, sexual energy. Your sexual vitality can be affected when it's blocked. So the disappointment of people. Yeah, your relationships matter. That's why I'm talking about today's word being the target word of respect. Because self-respect, of course, like anything else, is something that has to be found from within. So how we respect ourselves will reflect how we are able or our capability of treating and other people. Respect is a primary pillar of virtue when it comes to knowing if a person, trying to discern or make the judgment of if a person is good for you, comes based on first knowing how you are as a person and what you give to others. So you know how they say, I wanted to do a response to somebody's video that was, it was a comedian. He was just saying how it's crazy how solid people seem to get done wrong first. They be the main ones to get done wrong. In a lot of cases, that's true. And I would say personally, from my POV, that occurs because ultimately the way the universe seems to assist us as people is what we ask, we tend to conjure up in our own existence a lot. So how we direct our energy, I was told I'm too nice. Okay, I'm gonna get back to you. We're definitely done wrong. Yeah. So yeah, when you speak, when you think about how you are to a person outside of yourself, but you barely know how you are to yourself. Self-respect is knowing how to be able to learn how to build a relationship with yourself in which you know how you like to be treated. You know how you desire to be treated in a relationship specifically. And it doesn't have to be a significant relationship that we're talking about. It can be any form of relationship. Like, this is Women's History Month, so I'm going to be tapping a lot into how women are to each other, because ultimately how men are to each other, I speak on a lot, simply because I know that how men treat one another and how they choose to have unity and camaraderie affects the entire foundation of a house and family structure, of community structure, and anything like that. So ultimately that same power relies in women, and I'm gonna tap into power when we get to the solar plexus chakra, because ultimately right now it's about creating the space to have transparency and expression and comfortability. I think it's something important for there to be transparency in the home between parents and their children, but it also should be transparency between a spouse, the spouses. It shouldn't be a treatment of like superiority. And the thing about respect is that there is respect in a human nature, and then there is respect because of authority. A lot of times respect is more so looked at in the ways of like if a person is superior or inferior to you, when ultimately it's the hardest virtue to have, and it's the hardest virtue to keep. And I say that because ultimately with life being the way that it's treated like a game, people are constantly competing with other people in the way of trying to get the best respectful response from other people. So validation is a big reason why people do or don't have respect or give respect, because they are seeking validation a lot of times outside of themselves, and they haven't learned those tools that we need to pour into ourselves before we try to get and gather from other people. I'm going to continue to promote the fact that the SelfJourneyS element of knowing how to create the solidity of mastering elements of yourself and virtues of yourself through yourself and by yourself before trying to project things on other people or practice on other people. To practice trying to understand respect on other people is fine to do, but I feel as though we should start practicing self-respect. When you practice self-respect, you'll learn what you like and dislike, and you'll know how to treat others the way you would want to be treated. That's just cut and dry when it comes to it. I took a few notes, and then I wrote down biblical context for the people who are not necessarily spiritual but may have religious backgrounds, and understand that it's also spoken in the Bible as being a virtue to have respect, and self-respect is the way that you first initiate having respect with others and camaraderie and unity with other people. There are so like I said, there's respect, loyalty, and solidity, right? So, matter of fact, like I said, the biblical context is Matthew 19:19. I want to read it verbatim. So, where did I put my... I didn't write that one down. I just, got the Bible app, screenshotted the verse. Hope you all have a wonderful, March so far. The year been, pretty smooth for me, so I'm hoping everybody is having a good transition. This has been my year of, upgrades and everything. And then back to the sacral, it's a season of transformation, allowing the transformation. This being a year of reflection, I've allowed myself to really tap into my personal space of the elements and understanding my lower chakras as I establish boundaries, as well as not just always lingering in my higher chakras, just allowing myself to embrace all of my chakras. Because if your lower chakras are blocked and your higher chakras are open, you're more vulnerable to, spiritual attacks, as well as energetic disturbance to your inner world, because we all have our own inner world. We have our own space within ourselves that has to be nurtured and taken care of and acknowledged. And self-validated, because once you validate yourself, it's easier for you to naturally know what to expect from others and accept from others. When you have boundaries, you know what you will and will not accept, and you know what can be forgiven but not forgotten for the sake of protecting your energy, just in general. All right, so in biblical context, I said I was going to read. I took a screenshot of a couple of them, but the first one is Matthew 19, and everything, therefore, treat people the same way you want them to treat you, for this is the law and the prophets. That's Matthew 19:19, and then, Matthew 22:39 is loving your neighbor as yourself. Mark 12:31, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these. And then you can tap into the law, the spiritual laws of Ma'at, the principles of Ma'at, different other systems all speak on, like when you look at different law systems, they all speak on the importance of respect and having respect for yourself in the dynamic of preparing that for yourself. And I mean, the first rule of or law of the principles of Ma'at is know thyself. And so that's why I tap into everything I tap into. I speak first coming from the place of acknowledging it through yourself, recognizing it and building it through yourself, practicing it through yourself, because it makes you more not just comfortable with people, but like before settling in situations with people, you'll have more of a conscious awareness of what you're getting yourself into and what you're allowing in the moment of that. I want to tap in deeper though into loyalty and how loyalty, respect goes hand in hand. If you don't have respect and loyalty, then it's like there's no solidity in the relationship because there's no mutual respect. So ultimately, that's the big deal of having respect as a foundation. That's just like you can say that you can trust that a person will be loyal to you if they're disrespectful. But do you think that it's easy for you to trust that a person is and can be loyal to you if they're always disrespecting you? If their actions are constantly disrespect, how is that ever going to make you feel like they're loyal to you? How can that make you feel like they're loyal to you? And maybe there is a way, so maybe somebody can tell me. But from my POV, if you're incapable of respecting me, I can't expect that you would ever know how to be loyal to me. I won't put trust into you in the idea that you'll be loyal to me. That has to be earned. And different types of respect are to be earned. And then you have the respect that's automatically given. So when you are a person who carries yourself in a way where you show respect to yourself and others naturally, it's usually where you may see that you are given respect on a regular basis. But when you're constantly chasing acknowledgement and seeking people to respect you rather than just being self-validating and having self-respect, it's a difference, and it's like a thin line where people get it confused because they want to be respected in an authoritative, in an authoritative manner, and they are not understanding the human nature of what respect represents and why you should want respect. Their reasoning is more aligned with societal points of views and status and, wealth. And there's nothing wrong with those things, but there's more to respect than just status, wealth, monetary things, and image. Like, respect is an actual part of character building. When you have self-respect, it's a matter of learning how much you back to that primary frequency of love, how much you love yourself. And it shows through your action of respect. That's one of the virtues. Your patience level with others shows your respect element as well. So all of the virtues kind of go hand in hand, but I just wanted to tap on, like I said, the virtue of respect, and then, the sublets of loyalty and solidity. I'm not speaking about solidarity. I'm speaking about solidity specifically because, like I said, I'm touching on what makes a solid individual based on how they are respectful and respected, and how respect is carried is usually based on being earned or gained, earned or given. So back to what I was saying about, so disadvantages. I do want to tap into some disadvantages before I get into all the juicy good things about respect, just because it can come off like you are, like, a lot of people's ego and pride block them from naturally being able to, like I was mentioning, gain, earn respect, and keep and maintain respect, whether it's earning it and gaining it yourself or having boundaries that you set up so that people learn how to earn and gain your respect. And also the same when it comes to, giving respect and knowing how to receive respect without chasing it or needing the validation of the people that respect you. Just, accepting the support that you have. And a lot of that plays a part in humility, but that's also a virtue we'll tap into another day. But for the sake of the sacral and unblocking and opening up that reproductive space of us all, reproductivity goes hand in hand with creativity. Fertility, and being able to produce children is one way of viewing what creativity is and what creation is. But there are so many more things to us as being creators, aka co-creators of the divine, ultimate creator. So ultimately, it is our duty, it is our job to learn how to do these things for ourselves. So disadvantages, like I said, of respect are, it's difficult to maintain over time, which I just said, ultimately, like, you can respect somebody and love who they are and stuff like that, but it's kind of like, just like being a fan of a celebrity. Sometimes it's short-lived. Sometimes you got, people call it loyalty when you are a fan of somebody all the days of their life, and you're a part of the reason they have a legacy because you never forgot them and you will always remember them and promote them, right? But it's just like the respect of, I was just talking about this in an interview the other day with one of the creators that sat with me, and I want to tap into this a little bit more about being able to, like say as though artists and musicians and people like that, right, from a certain area or whatever. So say as though you're an artist from DC or Baltimore or the DMV area, and you see that majority of the people in the area, they promote more artists and underground artists from Atlanta or New York or LA or even overseas, but they don't want to promote your music. They don't really like your music, or they just don't listen to it, or it's not their cup of tea, or the vibes that they're on, they can't understand, or they're not really into it, or they don't like your voice, or they hear more of the flaws in your music than to hear your free expression and your individuality. People have a hard time accepting people's differences, so respect can't even be reached because you're automatically judging another person before seeing whether or not you can understand their differences, because we're not all exactly the same. We're not going to all think the exact same way. So it's more easy to learn how to have self-respect when you're capable of observing and accepting other people for who they show themselves to be. That's not saying disrespect yourself or allow disrespect from a person if they show themselves to be a disrespectful person. That just means recognize and discern what people show you as themselves to be. And it's just cut and dry. People can show you a false mask. At the end of the day, it's not you that has to worry about all that tap dancing. It's them, because they're the ones who are carrying themselves in a way where they're not able to be their true self. They are not able to understand the respect you have for yourself is to be yourself at all times. They have an issue with how you are, usually because they are aligned with how society says they should be, or how their family or people they know say they should be. They don't understand the freedom of being yourself. And having self-respect is something that allows you to be comfortable and confident in who you are, no matter who got what to say or how they feel. Because if who you are is not personally affecting anybody else in a detrimental way, they should not have any problem with you at all. And the fact of the matter is that they don't. The issue is with their self. They are lacking self-respect and self-awareness of their own validation. People don't pay attention enough to the reflection. They do a lot of looking at others and allowing deflection, but they don't like reflection. So that's the disadvantage. These are the disadvantages. It's hard to keep respect if you're not learning to be respectful through your own relationship with yourself. First, You know, you're trying to gain and understand respect through other people and kissing ass or, you know, being fake, you know, for somebody just so that they can see you or whatever. It's the difference between genuinely being somebody interested in other people and somebody who is just like trying to earn or gain some form of a rapport with people for an image or for a status, and not because they're trying to earn respect for their character and for who they are as a person, and for, you know, understanding pouring into each other and not just trying to take from somebody or drain them or, you know, be a condescending negative entity in their space at any point in their life. You know, if you're not pouring into someone good energy, then it's obviously toxicity you're giving them, right? I mean, what's the other type of energy you giving somebody if it's not love or if it's not genuine? If it's not to uplift them, then there's the alters of that. Changes due to priority changes. Okay, so the disadvantages of respect, like I said, also natural changing things with respect levels for people. Like sometimes a person can do something, and based on your judgment of people, you might be like, oh, they did this one thing in such and such 2013. I would never fool with them again. The thing about it is, if you are a person who doesn't understand change, then you will always hold grudges. I mean, till you 80-some years old, you will hold a grudge from what happened in 2nd grade with, you know, little Lulu that's sitting next to you or whatever in 5th period. But it's like, who has time to hold on to stuff like that, right? But like, it's good to not be forgetful, but forgiving is important. Observe, accept, and forgive. Observe, forgive, and accept not only others but yourself for the time you waste on unnecessary things and unnecessary thought patterns and unnecessary negative habits, as well as fear and anger that you not only inflict towards others, but the reason it's inflicted upon others is because of how you treat yourself. Like, even when I mentioned people who have fear and anger, and that's a part of your root chakra, and how when your root chakra is blocked, your fear and your anger pour out through your sacral, your emotions, and then that blocks your sacral. That's why it's like a pattern, you know. It's like, all right, your root chakra blocked because you got these fears, but then your sacral is blocked because it's in shock from all of the fear that you've conjured up, and now your emotions are damaged. And then you get to your solar plexus, and you don't even have power in your creativity because you haven't even nestled yourself in the comfortability of your self-respect and the loyalty to yourself. Like, how you are loyal to yourself reflects in your relationship with somebody, your spouse. You know, if you can't see that you want to be treated with respect by your spouse, so it's just natural to be a giver of respect to the person that you committed yourself to for a long-term relationship, what did you do it for? I don't understand people who do that. And the only thing I can understand about a person who cheats, who lies, who steals, and who takes from people and takes, but has never learned how to be a giver, is somebody who lacks self-respect. A lot of times people have the things they want to say about the homeless and this and that and the third. You never know why a person is in the situation that they're in. But the thing about it is, there's no reason to be disrespectful to somebody who ends up in that situation or predicament just because you feel as though it would never happen to you. You don't know. But to speak on somebody else's disposition is not going to do anything for your particular, it's not going to uplift your chakras in any way. It's not going to raise your spiritual elevation or make your vibrations better. Like, no. Being a negative individual more than being your positive, self is natural, but ultimately it's natural to try harder to be a better person too. It's natural because you just like they say, you make time for what you want. It's true because you make time to apply for a job, and you make time to show up for the interview, and you make time to show up to make that money. So when it comes to making time to get in bed with somebody, to make time to get in a relationship with somebody and commit to something, and make time to have a baby, you can make time then to go see that child and go see that person that you was sleeping around with after a further commitment comes from it, and after you didn't make time to understand how to respect yourself and that person beforehand. But that's why it's like, why not take the time to build that relationship now with yourself? while it's just you? Why not learn how to, in your solitude, be able to understand relationship patterns that you have, what role you have played in relationships, and how were you in those roles? Like, what kind of person were you to yourself? Did you let that person treat you like a pushover? Did you let that person talk down on you? Did you let that person use their body or their beauty to manipulate you into doing things for them, or putting yourself secondary to them or their needs? Like, looking at the respect that you gave yourself and the respect that you force yourself to earn from others through the lack of boundaries that you have. Like, you can see that when you start to recognize what you want to be treated like. When you see what you want to feel when you're with the person that you're trying to pursue. You know, just like they say, men nature is to hunt women, and women should just sit and, you know, act like a flower waiting to be picked up from the garden, or whatever type of little theory. But ultimately, I'm the type of woman, if I like something, I'm gonna see it and I'm gonna try to, you know, get it. But I don't know, everybody's different. Ultimately, I ain't doing nothing right now, but I'm giving more submission to my space of femininity, and then allowing more dominance in a man to approach me. I'm willing to wait for that type of traditional storyline, because I've already lived a modern woman's walk. But ultimately, when it comes to my self-respect, I already know what it looks like for a man to be disrespectful, because I understand when it comes to the idea of treating a person how you want to be treated, when it comes to like significant relationships, it's kind of hard, because men and women sometimes, I won't say usually, men and women sometimes want different things in relationships. And I think that that's not discussed enough. So then we get into these relationships thinking, because of how we've built a relationship with ourselves. This is for the people who are on that vibration of like understanding self-respect and having self-respect. So now when you think about learning how to be more prepared for a relationship, or have more unity and camaraderie with others, whether it be friendships or significant dating situations, it's now a matter of removing that shield, you know, that loyalty shield. Good morning, grand rising, all that beautiful stuff. Gratitude for the breath we had in this morning. But yeah, ultimately, when you just sit there and you don't like listen to that person's differences and respect their differences, but you anticipate them to see yours, and you just want them to understand you, and you don't have a mutual respect intent. It's just wanting this person to learn to respect you. It's being too pushy. It's not realistic. It's not raw, and it's not natural to try to make somebody respect you or make somebody understand you and your point of view. The most you can do is just be yourself unapologetically. But learning how and who you are is the primary importance of being yourself comfortably and naturally. Being yourself does not mean allow your trauma and toxicity to be the thing that you always carry as a projection. Nobody wants a Scrooge as a friend. Nobody wants a Scrooge as a person that they gotta wake up to every day. And you know, this person that don't never want to understand their fears and their hurts and their betrayals or their, you know, discrepancies. But they'll want to wallow in them and dwell in it and complain about it every day. And it's like, it's like we see the problem, but what's the solution? Are we really going to sit here and complain about this every day? And it's like, in a relationship, communication is like so important. But respect is the foundation, because before y'all even got married, obviously somebody thought that they was being respected. Would you marry somebody without seeing if it's like mutual respect? Or y'all tell me how you feel about that. But I just know that I've noticed over my experiences with relationships that respect is big for me. And yes, somebody asked me a question like, between respect and loyalty, what's more important? Respect. Because if you are not, yes it is, what are you talking about? But yeah, if you are not a respectful person, I would never even dare be dumb enough to think that you can be loyal to me. If you disrespect me in the least bit, I am not going to trust that you can be loyal. And there are different types of loyalty. So, and the reason I say different type, because I mean, at the end of the day, loyalty is loyalty. But we as humans have over time in history had these psychology classes, this and that and third, because the study of people is a constant. We tend to hold on to something so much and then provide or promote so much of it that it becomes toxic, because it's like toxic. It's just like false positivity, like pretending like all you can do and all you are and all you ever been is positive is phony. You know, but trying to be that way and practicing more positivity and more of an optimistic way of being is not a problem, but it's a matter of knowing the difference, like I said. But a lot of these things is a real thin line, you know, between the truth of the matter and the lie in the situation. So when it comes to the types of loyalty, like I said, respect is the minimum of love. So if you can't respect me, like all that other stuff, like I don't see it really, you know, being genuine. Like you could say you love a person all day, but if your actions are disrespect all day, every day, something's wrong. Whether it be the fact that you have lack of love for yourself or lack of respect for yourself, the point I'm trying to make is that why are you in my face trying to pretend you want to commit to me and you lack these basic virtues? You don't have self-respect. You don't have self-love. What else do I have to say for you to understand why that's a reason enough for a person not to entertain you in any way, shape, or form? Whether it be giving you my sexual energy, giving you my time and conversation, like learning how to understand what is draining you is a part of growing that self-respect element with yourself. Because when you see like, all right, I love my family, but they will never respect who I am. It's a constant trying to change me, trying to make me do what I do for myself the way they think it should be. When you creating stuff and you're an artist and you got somebody like 𝒮𝓃𝓃𝓃𝓃 Badu said she's sensitive about her craft, and artists are sensitive about their craft. But anybody who creates something is sensitive about it. When you have children, you're sensitive about how your children are treated, who is doing what to them, where they're going, their safety, XYZ. Naturally, if you are a true nurturer and, you know, if you are a person prideful of your creativity and your creations. But when you're a person who literally tries to bash or put down other people's creations because of any reason, there's no excuse for it. You know, there's no excuse for being disrespectful to other people for their differences or for their sameness, you know, like their likeness. When people see somebody doing something they're doing and they try to compete or try to like one up them, or they copy and take from them, don't want to pay homage, don't want to pay the respects, don't want to acknowledge somebody else's, you know, like aura or anything, you know, it's like, it shows a lot of who is who in the situation. It could be a personal conversation and you're going to always see somebody expose who they really are when it's just you and them. Always. Are you in a relationship? Nah, I'm good. Are you? But yeah, the relationship I am in is with myself right now. So yeah, I am. Where was it at? All right, misplaced loyalty. So first I wanted to talk about, because I got a different one. So it's the toxicity in loyalty, right? So the toxicity in loyalty can stem from lack of real respect and can cause harm when the commitment to the other person becomes consistently a detriment to you and not serving. It's not serving you. It's not serving where you're going, or it's no longer serving you. Like that's what toxicity toxicity and loyalty is, or what loyal toxicity is when that loyalty or your commitment, your allegiance to that person is just like constantly is detrimental to your life, your health, your well-being, your growth, your family, or your peace, you know, your safety. Like if being loyal to a particular person has not brought you any fruit, has not watered your garden, has not opened up your mental, has not elevated you physically, has not promoted you in a better position in life, why are you loyal to somebody who is constantly disrespectful to your being? And I question that a lot when I allow people in my spaces. is the respect mutual? And it's not about, like I said, butt kissing and all of that. It's literally, there are literal things that come with being respectful and being a person that honors respect by giving it and allowing it when they've earned it from others. So, and that's the last thing I'm gonna get to, is like specific things that you can do to practice becoming more, having more self-respect, but also practice being respectful to others. It's a challenge. It truly is for a lot of people, because even people who do the fake kind thing, like nobody likes fake love, and a lot of people, we're all intuitive, we all have intuition. A lot of people don't like to be consciously aware of their intuition, but a lot of times your conscience is going to scream at you and tell you, like, I know you is not about to sit here and ignore this disrespect, I know you're not about to just sit here and allow this. Some women don't respect men. That is on point. That's the truth. And that cool, because you are talking about relationship. That is why I'm talking about relationships in general. It doesn't have to be about a committed, significant relationship. I feel as though it's levels anyway to respect. Like I said, in the element of, like, when we age, you might lose or gain more respect for others. Like, elders deal with a lot of disrespect. Because when they reach a certain age, when we as people reach a certain age, we get a lot of, like, we get neglected a lot, we get ignored a lot, we get, mistreated. I guess, like, they want to say the karma of what you did when you were younger comes back when you get old, but ultimately elders get ignored, they get mistreated, they get, left behind, constantly pushed and pulled, not taken seriously. There's not a lot of, like, places that are for them to be comfortable and safe if it's not within their family structure, home, or whatever. Like, elders get treated dirty, and that's same for children too. Nowadays there's no respect out here. You're right, Petty Freddy. Yeah, and it doesn't get discussed because people think it's cute to be disrespectful to adults. People think it's cute for kids to not have self-respect. For when children just do things and it makes them look dumb. Like, people, it's a joke. Children automatically become freaking comedians because their lack of respect is cute to a lot of y'all, and your own children's lack of respect, whether it be for themselves or for you, be cute, to a lot of y'all. Children's respect to other children be cute to a lot of y'all. Petty games, fighting, gang banging, and thinking a gangster is a nigga that needs to go to jail or end up dead is cute to y'all. That's what respect to y'all is. To me, a gangster is a man who know how to, or a man or woman who know how to make stuff shake without having to be always tapping into things that are unjust and unjustifiable. And also somebody who knows how to get the bare minimum of the foundations of stability, such as having a house and a car, or a vehicle, like owning some stuff. You know what I'm saying? A man that even is thinking on that level, if he doesn't have it already. A man that, or woman that, is working a job and building longevity to retire in that, or actually completing tasks that they start and finishing it, actually going out here and pouring into the next generation or their own generation the things that they've learned over the years, instead of withholding valuable information for $1 or holding that information in because they don't feel it's going to benefit them if they share the greatness of their legacy with anybody other than their own. It's a lot of selfishness that plays a part in the lack of respect for people, and that prevents unity and camaraderie in a healthy way. Like, you can have a group of people in a party. That doesn't mean that it'll be a fun time if everybody got an attitude in the party. Like, that's going to be dry. It's going to probably be some drama. So yeah, the vibe of a disrespectful person or a person that lacks respect is it's very loud, and most people just refuse to respect and honor the virtue of respect in general. I would love to talk to you one-on-one. I like what you be talking about. I'm interested. Okay, cool. Yeah, I like having these conversations, so we could talk. But yeah, so that was one. Loyalty, loyal toxicity. And then false loyalty. So false loyalty is like having involuntary behaviors, where it's like it's not personal, but it's strictly like business type of thing. So you got relationships and businesses, or instead of jobs or whatever, even, you know, from a small to a grand scale, where, like, say as though you loyal to somebody because y'all met in the workplace, and y'all know each other a lot on the element of y'all work ethic. You will put that person down as a reference. You know, you would expect that this person would be able to at least speak highly of you when it comes to the workplace, or the type of work that y'all do, if y'all share the same elements in the same field, you know. But a lot of times, even that, you know, people naturally want to compete and compare, or they want to try to one up the next person. It don't matter if y'all work together and y'all cool. It'd be like that one time that promotion was, you know, a little bit high, so that loyalty went out the door. But that was false loyalty from the beginning, because it was never a personal loyal situation. It was loyalty based on a business. That was just on a co-worker to co-worker type of example. But, you know, a lot of times in the element of people creating a business partnership with somebody, their loyalty, like I said, is to that person through that business. It's not personal. So when you want something, but you don't want to go to Walmart, but it's nothing else open that late, so you don't got a lot of options. And that story is kind of like, all right, so the false loyalty in that is your loyalty to the gas station that's close to your house. You don't want to you don't like going to that daggone Shell, but that's the closest thing to you. But you prefer to go spend your money with Quick Trip, but you like, nah, let me just go ahead to this Shell because it's right around the corner, and, you know, I need gas right now. Same thing if you don't really like Walmart, but it's always a Walmart near you, or you got one closer to your house, you become a loyal customer to Walmart. But it's not, you know, that's false loyalty though, because you ain't really want to buy that. You ain't want to spend your money with Walmart. You want to spend your money with a black owned business, you know, that opened up at 11 a.m. But what you needed it at 4 a.m. and Walmart is open 24 hours in some places, and some just late night. So you like, I gotta go to Walmart, you know. That's false loyalty, because at the end of the day, you're not entitled to have to wait until 11 a.m. for that black business to open up, just because you told them you were going to invest in them. You know, it's a personal thing that you said you were going to be more loyal to that black business than Walmart. It's personal. So when it comes to false loyalty, is basically just saying, it's being loyal to your option, to your other option, unbeknownst to you, or even like just subconsciously you're doing that, you know. And ultimately it takes a lot, like I said, to have trust in something, but also be trustworthy and have respect. But that was just an example. There's other ways that I can explain false loyalty, but ultimately I'm pretty sure y'all have your own perceptions. So healthy ways to overcome disloyalty. You gotta acknowledge, this is back to the observe, accept, forgive stuff. So you gotta acknowledge and try not to avoid your own healing. We can't pound each other heads enough with this whole like encouraging each other to heal. It's not about, oh, I did it, I healed over this, I'm good now. Like, healing is an ongoing thing, simply because it's a lot of things that happen to us that we aren't really realizing it are happening in our favor. It's happening for us. The running quote for my season 2 for 808 Tavern has been, you know, shouts out to all of the strong-minded people I met recording so far for season 2. I thank you so much for joining in with me and making the time to meet with me. I appreciate it, and I send love to everybody for that, for joining me on my series 808 Tavern. I just wanted to say that because you're tapping into, pouring into my sacral space. allowing me to have my creative, expressive way of sharing creators' expressions and their, energy. But you also just, like I said, you made time, mutual respect. So, yeah, ultimately, it's not genuine. It's not a genuine loyal desire to spend money at a place when there's no other options. That's not genuine, right? So, all right. So ways to overcome disloyalty that are healthy, because you can overcome disloyalty in a lot of ways, but not all of them are healthy, right? So, you on here every morning? No, I'm not on here every morning. It just be sporadic, but you can DM me. We probably talk another time. So yeah, one is acknowledge and don't avoid healing. Let yourself heal. That can be in any way. Don't be afraid to go to a therapy office, clinic, a therapist, and finding, and don't be afraid to vet therapists and see who is for you, who you can sit with, who you feel comfortable giving your money to assist you through whatever trauma it is that you want to unleash, or whatever it is that you think you need to heal. Because a lot of times we don't think we need to heal, but we still show up in the office and we just want to be able to have the experience of somebody questioning us in the ways that a therapist does, to be able to allow us to come out of ourselves, out of our shell, or out of our emotions, and find stability with our emotions, right? So that's the observance part, is observing the issue, observing yourself, observing your life, your patterns, your boundaries, just observing. Just be very, very observant of things of yourself and outside of yourself in the midst of overcoming disloyalty and understanding how to accept. So the next one is acceptance. Practice accepting difficult emotions. That's a big one when it comes to the sacral. I'm from Baltimore. Shouts out to the DMV area. But yeah, so acceptance. Practice and accepting difficult emotions. So like when it comes to like the unpleasant emotions, the draining emotions, the emotions that we want to block out and put to the back of our mind, the emotions we want to just be, act like it just doesn't exist, or we too tough so we don't feel nothing. Like realistically, practicing acceptance of those difficult emotions is a healthy way to get past disloyal situations and betrayals that have put a hindrance on our process, our progress, and our growth. Because that's what betrayal does, deception does, detrimental energy does, manipulation, narcissistic abuse, just defamation of character. There's so many things that we can speak about. Self-sabotage. Because even when it comes to the elements of self journeys, like not all things of the self are positive. It's a lot of things that are of the self that are negative as hell, and that are very bad and detrimental to our individual being. So accepting those difficult emotions, talking with yourself. I do a lot of journaling and I promote journaling. I would, encourage others to journal. You don't have to journal and become a IG poet or IG quote meme specialist. You can literally journal for yourself. And like for me, sometimes I journal and I burn it. I boil it and throw it away. I rip it, I burn it. I, set the intentions for myself to release those emotions, and I burn it away. Release the ash into the universe. I do stuff like that. I like to tap into the earth and into the water. Like when I like, this is sacral element is water, right? I do a lot of water, I guess water rituals, if you want to call it that. But I do a lot of water prayer, water cleansing. I love cleansing with water. Not just hygiene, taking a bath type of thing, but like water is such a great element to work with, and not just to manipulate for your own selfish reasons, but literally for those of you who are in a spiritual community, we know how much water is very powerful. I call it the deep, because your sacral chakra, I call your sacral the deep because of water, and because water is the first element of, the physical element of the earth. And it's just so much to water that you can use to understand yourself, especially because we're mostly made of water anyway as humans. So that plays a major part and role in going hand in hand with the root element of grounding. Like with water, it's I want to say it's kind of like a mediator, because once you get to the power of your solar plexus, the water, like I said, that's the reproductive space connected in your sacral, and it's below the belly button. So it's like that. It's the foundation to where you get to your gut, like what you get to your gut, how you create to make space and room for your solar plexus. You know, this area up here, where I'm gonna talk more about that too. By the way, I had some little, because next month's crystal is going to be the tiger's eye, but I do have a tiger's eye yoni for those ladies who use yoni stone, yoni eggs. I got a amethyst, but I used the amethyst already, but I have rose quartz, and I have my tiger's eye. I also have I got a couple more, but yeah, I'm not going to use the tiger's eye stone I have, because that's for the solar plexus chakra, but I am using this one for the masculine energy of my womb, and then I use the rose quartz for the feminine energy. But yeah, I'll talk about that later. But yeah, so ultimately, accepting, like I said, and then forgiving the sour thoughts, the self, I don't want to say self-hatred, but like I said, just how you respect yourself plays a major part in, you know, how you respect others, because of the fact of treating others how you would like to be treated, but also treating others the way they treat you is something that I go by as well, because some people don't necessarily overthink the idea of trying to make somebody respect them. Like, I don't be trying to make nobody respect me. Like, I'm gonna be me regardless. It's not gonna be, I already know that everybody not going to necessarily like me or my views, or because they don't understand me, it may be a lot of judgment. Like, I can't help how another person thinks and feels. Only a person can do that for themselves, but how I treat myself and how I am to myself is enough of a representation. So if somebody just chooses to be disrespectful, it's really not my energy. That's their own energy at the end of the day. Like, because I'm the type of person that I'm not about to just come off being disrespectful, but how you take my honesty can be, you know, based on your way of thinking. So when it comes to forgiveness, you got to forgive yourself and those that you blame or seek support from healthy sources. You can seek support from healthier sources than the ones you lean on. And that's why I said I encourage therapy and everything like that. But, you know, ultimately, a lot of times we lean on like our family to be our therapist, or our friends, and then, you know, or people we know. But ultimately, there are professionals for that. But when it comes to self-respect, nobody can force you to like yourself. Nobody can make you look at yourself better and treat yourself better. Nobody can force you to learn how to understand what respect is, and being successful in having mutual respect with somebody in a relationship. Right? It takes time. It takes time to build that kind of a trust that is needed. And I'm not even touching on trust today. I'm gonna touch on honesty, truth, and trust another day. But ultimately, today is about respect, loyalty, and solidity. And other ways to overcome it. Like I said, when you accept difficult emotions, you can overcome disloyalty from others, because you already understand like the nature of people, you know. And it's not saying you giving them a pass or you justifying it, because you really do got to hold people accountable, especially when you're holding yourself accountable, but they are having a hard time doing so to themselves. And you can do so without making it a whole like bash party. You don't have to like expose somebody to other people to let them know how you feel about something they've done or a way that they are, right? If you notice that a person has a way about them that you personally dislike, or you personally see as habitual or needs to be healed, or you think that it needs to be healed, and you honestly care about telling this person, like, you could probably, you know, work on this by being this way, or working on this. Did you know you do this? Like, there's ways to talk to people, especially if they're your friends or your family, and just tell them, like, you always do that to yourself. Why you always act like that? You know, it's like, and having a person, helping a person acknowledge something that they may not know they do. Like if a person you love has a lot of self-neglect, it's cool to accept them for who they are, but it's also okay to have like mutual communication where it's honest and effective, and you let them know, like, I notice you do a lot of this and you put yourself last when you do XYZ. I personally don't like it. I don't know if you know you do it, but I'm just mentioning it because, you know, I want to see you win, or, you know, I want to just see you do better for yourself, you know. And ultimately that it has to be a reasoning, or it doesn't really have to be reasoning, but usually it is reasoning behind why a person would be able to, like, be respectful to another person. So before I wrap it up, there are ways to be respectful that people won't agree with because of various reasons of, like I said, pride and ego, blocking people from choosing to just be a confident, humble, respectful person. But forgiving the self and those you blame, and rather seeking support from healthy sources, redirecting your energy, cleansing and focusing on your needs is a part of healthy ways to overcome disloyalty or disrespect, unloyalty, and disrespect. Letting go. You gotta let go of things that, first of all, walk away on their own. Also, letting go of things that won't allow themselves to fight with you for whatever it is that you see as the bigger picture or the vision. If you're in a relationship with somebody with different beliefs, different morals, different standards, different views, that doesn't mean that love can't be there. But when you're settling for disrespect, you're settling for validation of somebody else before your own. You're settling for a possible do it again situation because this person never healed from the first incident or whatever. Like, when you just settle in mess, it conjures up more of lack of self-respect, and it's almost like you get blinded by what you're used to doing, that you can't even see the disrespect. So like I said, the communication with people you love and mentioning to them things, not necessarily always negatively. It can be about things you see them doing well. That's a form of respect. Like, you can be more like giving praise or giving, acknowledgement and recognition to others. There's nothing wrong with being respectful to other people. But a lot of people, like I said, they want to be in the spot of a person sometimes. But these days, it's more of an issue of people want to be in the spot of the person that's being respected, or they want to be in the spot of the person that they respect or admire. And they don't necessarily see it like what do you call it? They don't see a point in, like, just telling the person, like, hey, I like what you're doing, keep going. Like, they don't really gotta, like, go all into detail about what they said the other day or nothing. Like, just to acknowledge another person is a challenge for people because people lack respect. Like, they just don't see a purpose in being nice or kind. They look at that as a weakness out here these days, to be a good person. I smile a lot. People probably get annoyed by that, like, because I'm always geeking, I'm always laughing. A lot of stuff I don't take serious because I know what is a virtue and pillar of my existence, and I know what things in life, I know what other things in life are seriously just, like, I won't say a joke, but it's just not realistic, or it doesn't apply. If it don't apply to me, I'm not gonna say I laugh at it, but if it don't apply to me, it don't apply to me, and I don't apply it. So you need to write a book. I am. Thank you. I'll be taking my time with everything I do. I apologize. Yeah, it'll be coming though. It's good to smile all the time. Thank you. Yeah, I enjoy it. But I have my time where I got a straight face. It's not hard. But I got high cheekbones anyway, so I crack a little smirk. It look like I got a big smile on my face. So I don't know. But That's the main thing. Redirecting your energy, cleansing, focusing. That's the last thing. And then letting go of negative feelings associated with the betrayals and hurts tied to the relationships. So yeah, betrayal and hurt tied to past relationships. The thing about me is every relationship I have, I treat with me and that individual. I don't treat it based on who was before them. Yeah, I look at the patterns of what's being done based on generational cycles, because I'm big on breaking generational cycles and curses and habits and stuff. But I don't look at the patterns of the people I deal with as like a way to judge them specifically. I feel as though when it comes to breaking generational cycles and relationships, you have to understand that when you attract people with the same type of like response to something that you do, it's because there's a cycle that you need to break. And you keep attracting people who will bring that energy out of you, or who will expose that energy of you, so that you can heal from it. It's a way for you to heal from it. It's a certain kind of like karmic cycle that if ignored, you're going to keep repeating. And it's going to get to the point where it's so repetitive that you're like, didn't I just go through this with my last girlfriend? I refuse to go through this again with my new boyfriend or girlfriend, whatever it may be. So like, if you know and you're able to recognize the lessons, then you're able to grow from them and break the cycle. And that goes with the self-respect element of building a relationship with yourself. When you're able to see like your own patterns and your own ways, it'd be like, oh, I see why I keep ending up in this predicament, because I'm always doing this. Like for people who, like I said, responding to the comedian who said, why is it that solid people always be the ones that get done dirty, played first? A lot of times they're done first that way because everybody else got to learn how to receive that information from that person on how to heal later. Because those who, you know, do the belly work, do the snake dancing or whatever, and do the most to try to think that they're the deliverers of karma. Karma gonna do what she gotta do. People just be in the way doing just doing anything. But ultimately, people try to think that they're the deliverers of somebody else's karma, or they gonna be somebody's nightmare and all of this. They ain't doing nothing but building up generational karma and issues for themselves and their own descendants at the end of the day. You just have to understand that you being the solid individual you are, you went through it first because you probably know how to overcome. You probably was given the tools to know how to balance and how to get back on track if somebody try to throw you off. A lot of times, the same snakes that do you dirty is the same ones that would never know how to deal with the shit they dish. They don't know how to overcome obstacles and situations that they want to put others in, because they are the ones who have always done it. So if they got to go through it, it's going to happen in a way where it hurts the worst, because it's going to happen within their circle, amongst their own people, and it's going to be by their self-infliction. And their self-sabotage. So ultimately, at the end of the day, how you treat yourself and the relationship that you have with yourself, a solid person, if they see that you're that way towards yourself and generally that way towards people, they not about to be confused like, oh my gosh, this person betrayed me. The first time a solid person got betrayed, they learned. So if somebody else tries after that, all a solid person sees is that this motherfucker is conjuring up their own storm for themselves. Because the way that a person works who is solid and genuine, the universe is constantly trying to find ways to teach them how to protect themselves, right? But people who are not that way typically do a lot of chasing to tear down people. So their energy is more focused on the thought process of being a detriment to others, you know? And that's a weak way to be. But you, as a strong, solid person, you shouldn't allow yourself to be thrown off course just because another person has exposed their vulnerability to needing and desiring something that has to be earned, for one, and something that may not be for them in that season, for two, just yet. And so when you let go of like just anything, like I said, that is trying to leave your life, you let go of things that are resisting change and you're evolving. You let go of things that aren't really building and adding to you but taking from you. You let go of people that, like I said, don't want to work with you. They just want to use you, not for your asset, not because they want to use you and let themselves be used. They're just people that are just literally, like I said, they want to be conquerors, and they look at that as a honorable thing when you have authoritative respect from others. But the issue, like I said, is that nothing like that can be maintained, because ultimately when you have that type of like false loyalty, or that false respect, false positivity. Anything built on a faulty or false foundation is not genuine, and it's not going to be long lasting, because it was built on falsehood. So let go. Like I said, when something is not fighting back for you, like, don't try to force it. Don't try to force a girl to get pregnant just because y'all had sex and she don't want to do it no more, and try to force her to drink this bottle because y'all friends and you want her to sleep with you so that you can say you did it. Or try to force, a woman to, like I said, get pregnant so you can have a reason to be in her life forever, or vice versa. Don't try to force a marital situation to get yourself out of another situation. Don't try to force that you need to be at a job for a lifetime because that's what your dad or your mom did, or try to force something to be in your life because that's the norm or the popular thing. Don't try to force, like I said, even with art, like, don't try to force yourself to do what everybody else is doing in the art or the industry of the art that you're into, just because that's the trend right now. You got to tap into your creative space, back to the sacral. This vibrational orange, this element of the water. Understand that you have to pour into you everything of your creative element, and you have to get in tune with your emotions, and you have to allow the changes that need to be changing through this reproductive space, because that's what reproduction is. So the cycle of your reproductive space being, attuned for you to prepare and plan how to express in whatever way suits you in life. All of that ties into the element of opening and keeping open your chakra, but also learning how to create protection and energy over your chakras when you open them up, because obviously they got blocked from the attacks of physical and spiritual and energetic, imbalances. Reconnecting with others is better when we let go of the feelings associated with betrayals, even if it's tied to that particular person. So like, letting go of negative feelings associated with betrayals and hurts tied to the relationships, to assist the reconnection to others without the fear or judgment that you had of, from before. So whether you have an issue with people in friendships or relationships on an intimate level, or in a workplace or whatever, and the issue has been stemmed from a relationship situation, friendship you've had in the past, a lot of times it's because, issues happen when it comes to new relationships, because we hold on to what we learned when we were in another relationship. That's why it's important to learn the lessons through building a relationship with yourself, but also when you're in a relationship with another person, the challenge is double. That's just all that is, because you're in unity. You're in the space of unity, but you still have to understand your G self. So when you understand your energy, your God within, your higher self, and then you find ways to incorporate your lower elements and be all of you, which is making you whole, all of that is a task and a duty of itself for your individuality. Like, your individual self needs you. I mean, we can't be selfish about our selfish. Like, when it comes to being able to pour into yourself and knowing that you are already a giver to others, it's nothing wrong with that. That's not being selfish. But that selfish is something that comes in the SelfJourneyS too. We all had an experience where we felt that way, where we felt like our time is precious and we don't want to give it to others, where we felt like this happened with too many people in the past, so anybody from here on, we have a certain boundary for it. That's not being selfish. That's being self-aware and self-conscious of the energy that you allow and don't allow in your space. Self-defense is something that we tend to have more time for, though, than self-respect. We build a lot more, and that's why it's a difference, like I said, in knowing like the virtues, words that are virtues and words that are detrimental, like a defensive self part of your journey, like just constantly. A lot of people are like that right now, actually. Like we were just saying, respect is like scarce these days, right? So when it comes to like just being defensive towards other people because of things that happen with other people that you were in a relationship with or friends with or experiences you had, it's important to learn the lesson about what happened, but also understand why it happened. Understand the part you played in that situation or circumstance. Understanding the good and the bad part you played, as well as how maybe there could have been preventative things. Like, what are some preventative methods for that? But yeah, just learning how to have an analysis of things in life before making impulsive, immature actions. Like, cheating is an immature action to have in a significant relationship. Even in a game, like, cheating it's immature. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, that takes the fun out of it, first of all. I don't want to be playing no card game, no video game with somebody that's always trying to cheat. Like, even when it comes to cheat codes, like, I used to love Grand Theft Auto. I don't like using all of these cheat codes for no Grand Theft Auto. It takes the challenge out of playing the game. Like, the game was made to be played and have its challenges so that you can figure it out. If you always using cheat codes to pass missions on a video game, like, come on, like, that's no fun for me. I mean, no offense to those who do it. It's fun when they got the cheat codes to get extra weapons and all of that, but I digress. I could go about that video game stuff because I don't like cheating on games. So I'm not going to cheat. I don't cheat in life. I don't cheat on games. I don't cheat in relationships. I don't cheat. Because if I don't fuck with you no more, I'm going to leave. If you did something to me, I'm not get back. I'm not the tit for tat girl. I'm going to leave your ass where you are. And you can be with who you thought was better or who you needed to sleep with. Okay? Because now you can sleep with that motherfucker forever. It will never be me sticking around for a nigga to play with. Get one of these bitches that's easy to lay on their back or need you to need them. I'm not a pick me. So, shouts out to all women. But if you a pick me, sis, or you a pick me, bitch, look, that's for you. But when it comes to my self-respect, if a nigga gotta think twice, goodbye. Because if it's not me, then I'm not about to be on nobody roster. You got options like that, them options can have you. I don't need community P. I don't need none of that. So that's when it comes to my self-respect, though. Because if you're a guy it's guys that I understand don't want to date a woman who, danced in the past, danced today, or may dance later. Kudos to you. That's your self-respect. You have the right to choose who you would allow in your life. But like I said, when it comes to letting go, if you don't understand change and how to accept a person for who they are, do you really have self-respect? Because you can't respect another person's line of work. You can't respect and accept that another person has differences from you. You can't accept and respect that this person doesn't like being cheated on. And they're not tolerating it. They have no tolerance for that. But that person respected that you wanted to do what you wanted to do. Like, I look at it like a respectful thing for me to leave somebody instead of going back and forth cheating on them if they cheat on me. Oh, you cheated? Cool. You won. I'm out. Like, why are we going to go back and forth? I'm not playing games with you. Life is a game already. I'm not playing games with you about how we can build. If I'm in a relationship, I'm there to build and grow with a person. If you there to play around, the streets can have you. I'm not playing with you. This is real life. Niggas be playing, and females too. Be your whole friend, and the whole time they plotting together, doing stuff behind your back because it's fun. It's fun to be deceptive, right? And it just don't be fun to get caught, I guess. It don't be fun when, all the betrayal you did is about to come right back to you 10,000 fold. It's not fun when you realize, oh, I am not karma, but I have conjured up my next season of karma. It's like, why is that like confusing for people? What respect is, what loyalty really is. Like, you cannot have one without the other. If you are a disrespectful person, I would never trust that you're going to be loyal to me. Because how you treat people in general matters to me. If you can disrespect the elder in my face for no reason, I don't see you being loyal to the elder community. I don't see you being loyal to the position of working with elders if you are a disrespectful person to people across the board. And like I said, there's levels to respect. Some people don't earn the respect, so they're disrespected on a regular basis, or they lack respect, so they don't see respect being given because they're a disrespectful individual. And then they confuse, like, because of how people treat them, but they don't realize how they are towards people in general. And it be based on their own trauma and things they haven't let go of. And now they've created this, I need to prove to you, do not play with me energy. And I just, like I said, I give you trust. But the minute you take the trust away, we're done. And there shouldn't be any confusion because you did what you did, right? Like I said, we grown. I'm gonna hold you accountable. So all that immature, I just did it, I didn't mean to do it. You is not my child, okay? You made the decision to do what you did. Well, you could have just sat with me and said, I'm not getting enough attention. I need more sex, or we not getting enough time. Like, where you at? But if you go and you step out, no, you lost me, babe. That's where you lost me. Because there was communication that could have been had, conversations that could have been had, resolutions that could have been agreed upon. But people do a lot of disrespectful shit and then be confused when the consequences come to follow. I don't understand why there is confusion to that for adults. Because as children, we learn a lot about respect and disrespect. We learn a lot as children about loyalty. We see a lot as children to let us know the importance of respect, being solid, and having loyalty in our character and in our space, and having boundaries so that we can be able to discern the relationships that we have and how they are going with other people. Misplaced loyalty is something else. It's like a mistaken loyalty or misguided loyalty, and that speaks for itself. That's being loyal to something that's not loyal to you. Like I said, mutual respect is something that's a reciprocal thing. You disrespect yourself when you are loyal to somebody who is not mutually loyal to you, or the loyalty is misplaced or misguided. If somebody is trying to get you to be loyal to a system that tears down a group of people, and you didn't do your research, so you've been paying, donations to this company that claimed to help uplift children with, a disease, but you didn't do no research, but you just got this misplaced and misguided loyalty from this false advertisement, or from this false representation of this company that stated that they represent one thing, but in behind the scenes, what you don't know is that they actually are doing the opposite for children. You know what I'm saying? And it just be like I'm dragging accountability this year, but that accountability and that self-respect plays a part in that, because when you respect yourself, it's easy for you to respect your children, but also respect your elders, but also respect others, your peers, your community. You understand that how you are in the position you play in your community is what affects the entire community. Just like they say one vote counts for the bigger picture. The reason it's said that way is because you could take yourself out of the grid and out of the equation, but when you're there, you see everything, right? So then when you reinsert yourself into the grid or the equation, you can understand your purpose and what your mission is to be in, the new chapter, cycle, or phase that you walk into when you're awakening, or you had an ascension season. Like you literally, in transformation and transitioning and in upgrading, you get to see the greatness of your character, but also the greatness of what you've been attracting to your space. Like when you build this relationship with yourself to have more respect to yourself and be loyal to yourself. I had posted something the other day about you are the most permanent thing in your life. So you should always come first in your life. And that's because at the end of the day, once you are here, yes, you honor your neighbor, you honor your mother and your father, you honor, like I said, your neighbor, the people around you, but the main thing that's always spoken in every pillar of law is that you gotta have yourself first. It's just I hate that y'all feel may feel like it's a drag to think highly of yourself. It's a difference between being egoistic and boastful for the sake of having a grandiose idea of who you are. Like that's one thing, to just be too self-absorbed and like I said, there's negative elements to the self as well as to the self journeys, as well as the negative elements to the there's negative and positive elements to the self journeys, right? All right, so let me say some juicy stuff as far as some good things you can do. So the types of respectful actions to practice can be like, you can first of all, listen and be present. Like I said, the first thing you need to do is pour into yourself when it comes to respect. Learn how to practice having a self-respect relationship with yourself. Learn what loyalty looks, feels, everything of the senses when it comes to loyalty. Pour that into the relationship you have with yourself. And these are the practices of respectful actions. You can listen and be present. When you're listening to others, just literally choosing to listen, not to respond, but listen. Just listen. I love everything you talk about. Thank you, love. Yeah, just literally listen and be present in the conversation and understand sometimes in the types of conversation that you're having. That's why I said I separated my relationships with each individual. I don't judge my relationship of one person based on another person that I know or we mutually know, or that's too much work. I keep it where if I meet you and 5 other people you know, I don't judge you based on 5 other people. I want to see if you are going to be yourself. And if you can just be yourself in my presence and in my energy, regardless of who is there and who is not there, that's what I pay attention to, because that shows who you are as a person. If you're trustworthy, if you're real, if you are truly solid, and if you're capable of being loyal by how you are how you have self-respect. You know, because your self-respect will show in you being who you are. It'll show whether you lack it or if you have a lot of it, or if it's distorted or whatever, you know. Another thing other than listening and being present is to be thoughtful of others' feelings. So you can listen and be present in conversation, but a person can kind of tell when a person is just listening to respond, because they almost get this like about to say something while you talking. And I do that too. I have done that. I'm trying to change that. But ultimately, I've been learning how to, So I've been learning how to be more understanding on a level of just accepting a person's emotions and feelings as they say they are, as they express them in whatever way. And not taking it personal all the time. Because even if a person is just out loud cussing and going the hell off, I'm not about to be like, who's she talking to? And I just came out the house. Like, obviously she's not talking to me. And even if she's talking about me, I mean, I'm going to feel sorry for a girl because you ain't addressed me. You know, it's so many ways to go around the situation. But the easiest way is to go straight through it. Go straight to it, you know. And a lot of times, that be the issue with women is the lack of communication between women. It be like, I'm the type of female that I'm the friend that's going to tell you got boogie in your nose. But I'm not going to be like, girl, at the hotel, you got a boogie in your nose. No, I'm going to be like, I'm going to send a text. Or I'm going to be like, you know, something like, but it's just little stuff like that. I mean, like, people will try to play dumb. Like, you didn't just try to make that man look dumb in front of everybody by hollering out he got ashy lips or whatever. Like, you just try to be funny and make a joke out of that person. Like, all right, I get it. Some people are comedians. But if you're not a comedian, this is not a comedy session, or y'all in a podcast or whatever it may be. And it's a difference between if you know your relationship with a person and y'all be geeking, cool. Y'all know y'all relationship. But if it's a type of thing where you know that person don't like when you do stuff like that, and then you just do it still, and you have no respect for that person's like feelings, because that was this point that I'm trying to make for practicing certain respectful actions. Respect your feelings, the feelings of other people. You know, because the minute you step on their feelings and you disrespect them like that, it's notated. Everybody notates stuff that people do to them. I don't care how people try to act like they don't see nothing or they play dumb. People know when people do stuff to them. And they don't always have to say something. It don't mean they weak or they a punk just because they don't address every single thing a motherfucker do to disrespect them. But I'm telling you, people get confused when somebody put them boundaries up. Gratitude, Jay Heartless. So yeah, be thoughtful of others' feelings. Actually listen to understand and not just to respond sometimes. Like, it's not about you all the time when somebody's speaking from their place of, you know, venting or just needing to express. And then that's a lot of times where a lot of people become artists or get really in tune with their art, or they just keep that as a personal thing because that's the only place they can freely express themselves, and it's their thing. Like, you can't take somebody's expression. You know, you can copy and mimic it all you want, but they know their expression because it's theirs. You know, that's something they reached the ability to put in words and format for their actual life, because they stepped into that space with their relationship with themselves. Next thing is acknowledging others and saying thank you when necessary. This is a challenge for people who, you know, don't have respect, lack respect for themselves. Like people who look in the mirror always bashing themselves. I promise you, they barely know how to say something nice to somebody else. I mean, you can be a person who say you challenge yourself by you know, what do you call it, bashing yourself, or like telling yourself you ain't shit and this and that. I don't do that to myself. I look in the mirror and I'm like, girl, you're gorgeous. Oh, did you sleep well? Oh yeah, you can lay down a little bit more. Or, you know, like how I talk to myself is like I'm my queen. You get what I'm saying? I'm not going to treat myself less than I treat anybody else, but I'm not going to treat myself less than, period. So how you treat yourself as a man or a woman, it really reflects on outside of you and how you treat other people, especially when you are a person who treats yourself badly, but you treat other people real good. That's even worse, because how are you this way to yourself all the time? You so willing to put yourself down just to make somebody else feel good? I wouldn't even do that for my children. Like, that's teaching false love, because if you are not capable of loving yourself to the point where you would never put yourself down for the sake of anybody else's emotions or feelings, that's better to me than somebody who will sit there and literally neglect themselves, run themselves dry before they learn how to be a well, and then be confused when they're still not getting the respect they wanted or the recognition they wanted. What have you done for yourself lately? Like, truly. Are you taking care of your kids because of this whining and complaining about it? Or are you taking care of your kids because you actually have learned how to first manage yourself? Taking care of yourself to the point where you are able to be in that child's life in a healthy way. Or are both of y'all going to be in there acting like kids? Like, it's the truth. Like, people be really taking the self relationship as like a not a big of a deal type of thing. And some people that are in a power position don't want to see you have selfish time. They don't want to see you love yourself. They don't want to see you do that. No, you better not be selfish. You better not take no time to yourself, because the people that's controlling you, they don't need you tapping into yourself. What you need balance for? No. What you need a balance for? Be whole? I think not. Be whole for who? For you? No way. That's selfish. You got me fucked up. Look, I'd rather fall in love with the person who is in love with themselves than somebody who's desperate to find ways to love me. No. I want you to love me based on how much you've learned how to love the feminine essence in yourself as a man. Because of how you love you enough to put yourself in a position to be able to provide for me and protect me, even though I don't need you to. Like, how much is your love truly for yourself? Another one is addressing mistakes with kindness. So once you acknowledge others, their accolades, you can be able to do that. Can you speak to somebody today and be like, I seen your name on the board today, or I seen your name earlier this week on the board. You must be doing good. Shouts out to you for your commissions, or whatever it is you just going on at work, and be like, I heard you pass your test. Get it right. Keep it going. Keep it going. Whatever you're doing, keep going. Like, motivation for others. Like, you know, and if you see somebody not doing well, look, I heard you failed the last test. I've been just hearing about it. I'm pretty good at, you know, this subject or this situation. If you want, I got you. Get up tomorrow. We can go out here. What you trying to do? Like, you know, that's real motivation. Is motivating a person to pass and be successful at what it is that they're doing. Supporting them actively. And like I said, if it's somebody you don't know or you don't necessarily deal with on a regular, just simply showing up for their performance that they posted a flyer for. You don't even gotta hit them up and like, I'm coming. Just show up. You know. For me, I don't do that whole charging you to promote on my page. Like, if I feel like I like what you send me, I post it on my page. Sometimes I don't post it that day. I might post it another day, or post what I see on your page that I like. Like, that's up to me, you know. But ultimately, I don't need your money for that. But that's my personal thing. Some people use that as a way to make a couple dollars, though. But for me, I respect people's creativity and I accept their differences. So I like to, share things that I see a person working on for themselves. It might motivate and encourage somebody else too. And then another thing, like I said, addressing mistakes with kindness. So if things happen with you and another person, whether it's somebody you're close to, you don't know at all, or whatever it may be, when you know how to address things like an adult, it's so different. Like, I'm telling you, most people don't even know how to say anything back to you, because what are they going to say? I mean, the most they can do is try to act like, if they're childish, they'll probably just act like, oh, she hit me up. I know she did. I can't even think that dumb to know what kind of issue you would have with a person hitting you up on some respectful, humble, I made this mistake and I'm correcting it, or I apologize that I thought this, or I spoke this, or da-da-da-da-da. People don't know how to take shit like that from people, because a lot of people are disrespectful. They don't have respect for themselves or for others, and they'll take anything from anybody. A lot of women are like that, and a lot of men. So that's not a gender specific thing. So addressing mistakes with kindness and learning how to do so regardless of how their response may be. Like, I don't address things with a positive attitude because I'm hoping that somebody is positive towards me. I know that that's what I attract mostly by just being a fun-loving person. But there is always going to be people who just got an attitude. And people be having an attitude with you when you're in a good spirit too. Like, and those are the type of people, I don't got time for you. The minute I see that's your personality, oh no, you good, stay over there. Stay over there with people like you. When snakes are in a bucket or crabs are in one, you will never see me trying to find my way to fit in that mug. I'm good. Y'all can have it. So the next thing, when you address mistakes with kindness, you can also make decisions based on what's right. Not based on who you know, how long you knew them, or who you like the most, or who you favor in a situation. Like, if you in the middle of something, whether it be you and your other friends, or you and a friend and their man, or your friend and his girl, whatever it may be, and they try to put you in a situation, if you're truly going to get this person, whether it be advice or your POV, just because you don't want to just lead them like, I don't know, bruh, or I don't know, girl, you figure it out for yourself. Like, if you really care about a person and you want to give them some advice, and you giving them advice from your point of view, because that's all it can come from, because they got to make decisions for themselves, ultimately, making decisions for situations, even if you're a judge in a competition, it should be based on not your biases or your favoritism, or you knew their daddy, mother in middle school. The way to go by, you should go by respect is making decisions and situations based on what's right. Period. So doing what's right is another thing, like I said, that makes respect complicated, because it's hard for people to do the right thing. People don't like doing the right thing. It's not condoned as much and promoted as much, A lot of stuff is promoted more to be like an issue. Just like sharing versus stealing. So when it comes to like the world of making beats and doing things like that, I'm noticing that it seems to be hard for a person that creates a new sound to own that sound without people taking it and just tweaking it a little bit and then stealing it ultimately to make it for themselves. Instead of giving homage to the person that they were inspired by for the sound, they'll just act like it was their own thing, and it's a major issue when it comes to the world of creativity, because people are not giving respect to others. That is easy as hell to give. But yeah, that's a part of making decisions based on what's right, and not on the favoritism or the favor of another person just because you know them. Like, literally learn how to communicate with people based on like the facts. If you think a person's music is trash and they're your friend, why is it hard for you to mention that to your friend? Like, is there respect in that? And how is that loyalty by you not telling your friend that song was trash, or that you don't like their music and that's the reason why you don't support them? Like, what is the whole, I'm just going to ignore this person and act funny acting when they ask me for support, instead of telling them what it really is? Like, that is phony to me. I don't see how y'all view it, but I feel as though that's phony. So if you don't like I don't got no bunch of friends to be like, you don't like my music, let me know. But for the friends on IG and people, you can let me know if you don't like anything that I do or I post. That doesn't mean I'm going to stop doing it, but I appreciate you sharing your truth, Now, if you're just doing it because you're trying to bash me, or you're trying to bring me down, or you're trying to make it look a certain way for people that you know that I don't know, or you're trying to make sure whatever, or you're in the same lane, so you want your audience not to like me, so you want to try to find a way to bring me down or talk bad about what I do, that's on you. All that slandering and taking your time to do that. If you got energy and time to do that, kudos to you, honey. My thing for you is I send love to your gift and your craft, because if you are really truly in your gift and your craft, you don't have time to try to sit there and bash the next person for the type of things they do in their gift and craft, even if it's the same exact lane. It can be a whole bunch of people, you know, doing R&B in a DMV now or something, right? A bunch of females singing. I'm not about to compare myself to who sing what different. That's you. Like, who loves you, loves you. And if they don't like me, they don't like me. I can't try to make them like me based off of trying to be like you or trying to change my stuff to be like that girl's way to sing. And I don't have time. I personally don't. And I really feel like when it comes to self-respect, I respect myself enough to love what I'm trying to do and to grow with it. And when it comes to support and learning how to gain a fan base for my music, I will allow that to evolve on its own time when necessary and with who likes me. I'm not going to try to force it down friends' necks. When I first started, I did send it to people I love and people that I wanted to know, this is what I'm doing now. But they don't see me sending them DMs or videos and texts every minute and second of new music I'm doing. No, I put my stuff on my public platforms so that whoever in the world decides to gravitate to me, my energy, my music, and my expression has the freedom to do so and to access me in that way. Period. That's what I do for my self-respect and my comfortability within the element of how I build and I nurture my craft. So, when it comes to the next thing for types of respectful actions to practice, respect physical and spiritual, energetic boundaries. I can't say that enough either. Just respecting people's boundaries is a big deal. Their physical boundaries, meaning their body, if they don't want to be touched at that time or whatever it may be. Having self-control, men and women, when it comes to your sexuality, which is the element of the sacral chakra. Especially when you're in a relationship, if a woman is having issues with her sexual vitality and vice versa, if a man is having issues with his sexual vitality, don't go and expose your person or who you're with or who you're sexually engaged with, directly putting them on blast out loud, their name, and not ever sit down with them and talk about the issue that y'all have in your relationship or your sexual bond. That's a personal thing. Like, your sex life is sacred to you. So when you just out here, it's different to talk about something on a broad aspect and on an open conversation than to just like drag somebody's name in that conversation. Like, you know, it's one thing to tell, oh, I've experienced XYZ, and to actually like name drop and expose a person like from a sexual experience. And yes, a lot of people have experienced things, you know, crazy stuff. You know, I've heard some crazy stories. But ultimately, I'm not about to get on here and be like, yeah, because the girl, I don't even know her, but her nigga definitely told me she did. That's crazy. And that goes on. But the respect there is none. There's zero respect. Like I said, between women, it don't be a lot of respect. Girls hit your nigga up in a DM. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is crazy. And that, like, I've experienced that too. You know, my own best friend hit up my ex, you know, just say hi or whatever conversation they had. I don't know. But it's the fact that you moved that way behind my back is an issue for me. I don't care if I divorced him, left him, never dealt with him again. How you move is what I'm paying attention to. Like I said, the respect between me and you is what I'm paying attention to. How he carried it, I'm paying attention to too. But that's based on me and him. But how you carried it, I'm paying attention to based on me and you. So now I know the respect ain't mutual because of how you went behind my back to try to go and climb up a tree that I already been swinging from. So, like, you need to figure out, like, what your level of respect is from me. But ultimately, I've already peeped what you did. So, you know, it is what it is. But the fact that you want to be in my face acting like we cool after the fact, knowing what you did, and I guess you thought I wouldn't know, yeah, that's funny to me. I'm good. And I don't even have to say, oh, but you did XYZ in 2020. No, I forgive you. But I'm not going to forget. And I'm definitely not going to forget that you ain't even mentioned nothing to me about it. I found out other ways. So, like I said, respect is a real thing to pay attention to in your situations, and having boundaries about your physical, emotional, and energetic boundaries. I mean, having respect for your physical, emotional, and energetic boundaries and others. Real talk, that do be happening. Yeah, it do. So, And like I said, you could tell a person if they have self-respect based on how they treat their self, but also others. You know, a person could lie to you all day. But like for me, I look at it like, even though I did find out, that, my ex-best friend hit up my ex. All right, cool. My ex the one told me. But the thing about it is, this nigga waited years to tell me that. So now I don't trust you or her. So now the loyalty already ain't there because the disrespect that occurred behind my back. The fact that you felt the need to keep that from me is an issue for me, because where's the respect for me? You had enough respect for her to protect her from me addressing her for hitting you up, though. To me, that's disrespect. All of that is disrespect, my nigga. Like, I don't know how y'all view stuff, but that is disrespect. So, yeah, period. If I'm telling you I'm doing something and I'm moving a certain way and you dislike it, address it to me. But if you're going to be tit for tat because a person did something, that's stupid. Like, that's just going to create unnecessary, like I said, energy between you and that person, and a detriment of draining each other's energy. There's no uplifting in that. There's nothing encouraging about disrespecting somebody. There's nothing encouraging about backdooring somebody. There's nothing encouraging about going behind somebody back and doing something when you could have just said to them what you had a problem with. Period. Yes, communication. Like, you got to be able to communicate. And there's ways to communicate effectively and respectfully. But you don't go behind somebody and try to do something to try to bring them down or put them in a predicament to try to teach them any lesson. You are not God. Like, be a genuine person or move around. Like, leave people alone that you have a problem with if you're not going to address them about the problem you got with them. If you're the type of person that do that whole talking around the bush and don't deal with people that's direct and blunt, because you're not going to be able to understand directness. You understand illusions and playing games and lying. That's what you're used to. You're not used to a motherfucker coming at you like, this is what it was and this is how I feel about it. And if you're not used to that, learn how to build a relationship with yourself where you can know how to be honest with yourself. And if you don't want to do it, I don't have nothing to do with it. I'm not there. I'm just telling y'all how I feel about the whole idea of respect and how it starts with having it for yourself. Period. It's no way around it. It's like no way around it. You can't sugarcoat nothing about disrespect. And you also don't owe respect. Don't feel like you're owed respect from somebody just because of how you think. Like, say as though you think like the next woman should respect the next woman just automatic off the strength of you being a baby mama, or you being a nigga ex-girlfriend, or being a nigga ex-wife. I don't expect my ex-husband's next girlfriend or wife to even have the time of day to be worrying about me and my life and my business. And if she do, that's a problem to me. But I don't have to entertain the problem because he the one that took the time to be in the female face who worried about the next bitch, who worried about the last female, who worried about the next person's move, worried about everything but herself. That's a problem. Because I don't want a man who always worried about the next nigga, who always trying to one up the next nigga. If I'm telling you my man, why is you worried about who else in my face? Like, you taking too much time worrying about a relationship with somebody else that you don't even have a relationship with. But the relationship with me is dying because you fail to have respect for my boundaries, my space, and my time. And to focus on us, you two focus on every single thing else. Whether it be some ex in your face soon as she see that you got a female, or somebody, and vice versa. You know, men and women do this and play these games. And I'm not her. I don't play games with my time or my life. And when I see a nigga dealing with a childish female, he can get left with her. Because if you condoning that, you don't know how to let her know how to keep stuff in check. You don't know how to be real and communicate effectively. I don't deal with men who can't have respect in their own life. You don't have enough self-respect to make sure that whoever the fuck you deal with respects you back. You don't have that. So I know you're not about to protect me from nobody that's trashing your name, because you don't know how to stand up for yourself, and you're around people or women or men who condone sucker shit. That's not for me. I don't, if I see you around people who hand clap for little sucker shit, all right, that's not my audience. I'ma exit. And I'm gonna tell you how I feel, because I am not with nobody but you. In a relationship, when a person doesn't respect your family and your friends, That's a problem. And when your family and friends don't respect that person, that's double time the problem. Because now you got to protect the person that in their character based on you knowing them. The people you brought them around don't know them. So it's important to protect who you with against people you know, because at the end of the day, they don't know them like you know them, especially if it's a significant relationship. But a lot of times people will play these games and fall in line with what their friends and family say based on their personal relationship with somebody. There's no respect in that. And it's an issue when people create issues for people for nothing. And it'd be a lot of times out of jealousy because they not in a good relationship or a healthy one. Or it'd be a lot of times because they not the ones that got the ring or got the attention or got the whatever or the commitment. Or because that nigga wasn't acting that way with them, they feel as though, like, that's why, like, I know I was telling her the other day, like, you know, I appreciate you asking me out, but ultimately, nah, I don't deal with dudes with kids no more. Like, I'm done. Especially if he got a baby mom that they play games and they cheat and they sleep around. I'm good off y'all type people. Y'all can have that merry-go-round. And I'm also good off of niggas that don't know how to put the respect for the woman they with over any bitch they dealt with before, baby mama, whoever the fuck. If the bitch got an attitude and can't respect who you're with, that's a problem. If a girl gets with you, with another man, and that nigga disrespect her dude, that is a problem that you sat there and condone all this drama between men, first of all. And it's an issue that you would sit there and create a new relationship knowing the type of drama that nigga be on. So if you can't put a situation in check before you get in a relationship, that should be the priority. Getting stuff in check with your current situation. Like, period. Big old facts. Thank you. I'm glad you understood where I was coming from. A lot of times men get it, but women just be acting like they just don't agree because it's like a biased thing. But I don't care. Like, it is what it is. Live, love, let go, and let live. That's the last thing with and be willing to change. Let go of grudges and be helpful. Like, being a helpful person is a respectful thing to do. And it's not saying that you gotta, like I said, tap dance, you know, kiss booty, do all that. Being helpful because you can is, like, first of all, less powerful. But we tap into power when we get the solar plexus. Hey, little crow. But, like, being a genuine person, able to be helpful and being of assistance to others, being charitable, like, being willing to, like I don't hold on to clothes. Like, if I'm getting rid of clothes, I'm gonna donate it, but I'm gonna clean them first and make sure they're good. If they trashy, I'm gonna throw them away. But ultimately, that's the type of charitable person I am. Like, I'm not about to just throw something away knowing, like, it can be used, right? A lot of the stuff that we throw away is recyclable. So, like I said, sharing is caring, but when you're stealing and when you're taking from others and you're not paying the respects to who is the creator of it or where you were inspired from, it's just not real. And it's not respectful. There's no loyalty in that. So yeah, live, love, let go, and let live. That last part is a action of truly living life to enjoy life for yourself. Not because you got time to care about trying to tear down somebody else or make your baby mom or your baby dad life miserable. Like, figure out how to, like, really love yourself and entertain yourself and be there for yourself and your child instead of trying to make somebody else do something that is really your job to worry about you doing. Like, that's straight what it is. Like, even when you get married, you can't try to make somebody be the right way in the marriage. Like, as a woman, I'm not going to try to make a nigga be a husband. You asked to be my husband, or you took the job and the responsibility of being my husband. Love was already there and already was enough to the point where we didn't need the papers, right? But you wanted to bring that sacred, element into our union, right? So when you brought that element into our union, automatically respect should have been a main reason why you were okay with that. Because not only do you like and honor the way that I respect myself and other women or other people in general, but you are a respectful person and you recognize and can discern and judge how a person deserves to be respected as well, right? And you know how you want to treat a person. Like, if you just marrying somebody for, y'all have a business marriage type of thing going on, for the money. And I'm not saying marrying for the money like wanting each other's money. I'm saying marrying for the sake of like what money is needed and stable, and you can have a stable home when you know both people are pouring into the pot and onto the table and so forth, right? And that can be done in monogamous relationships just as well as polygamous relationships. You know, I'm not greedy. As long as me and the person I'm with are both maybe able to bring home, you know, good bread and butter, then I don't need a third wheel. But if you want to be in a polygamy, then be okay with polyandry as well. Okay, if you're gonna have a side piece, we gonna have side pieces. So like, I'm just not about to play games with my time, like, because if you got time to give all this extra energy and spread it thin to all these females, then all of the energy you spreading that you could have gave to me, I'm gonna go get it from old whoever. Okay, it is what it is, and whoever got whoever what to say, I don't care. Like, if we doing polygamy, we doing polyandry. Period. So it's that's just what it is, because I want a monogamous relationship. So if somebody try to force me to be in a polygamous relationship with him and we married, oh, you played the wrong, I'm the wrong one to play that game with. Don't try to trap me so that you can have your cake and eat it too, and I'm going to be one of the few. I think the fuck not. This is not Humpty Dumpty. Yes, my time is very valuable. Thank you, Money Game Empire. At least you know. Because there's men out here too that don't want to be with no female that's doing that game. Okay, you done married this female, you done bought a house for y'all and this, that, and the third, but she needs time and attention, so she about to go sleep with the neighbor while you at work. Oh, you got time to do that? Oh, okay. But that's what I'm saying. Like, these conversations need to be had. Communication is a big deal. Like, you should be patient and have self-control while your man at work to wait till he get home to get what he got in his pants. Why do you need it from the neighbor? People just greedy, you know? But it is what it is with that. I'm about to hop over here, though. I had a lot more to say, but I feel like I just been, you know, rambling on about my views. But I did want to say, okay, financial respect. A lot of times people think that because they have finances that they're above others, right? I think we all, as adults anyway, you know, sound-minded adults, because respect requires being sound-minded and open-minded. If you're not really that way, you're not a respectful person, most likely, and you don't care for respect or giving it or receiving it. But yeah, a lot of people, you know, just choose to be that way because they feel like that makes them different, or they want to be different so bad. So if everybody is doing the right thing, it's always that person that feel like, oh, I can be different if I just do this little stupid shit. Or if I'm going to stand out if I do what they said is the bad thing. Or, you know, whatever. And it just be like, people try to run from having attention. And then they run to trying to be a part of a trend instead of setting their own trend. And then if they do set a trend, they're constantly having to run from the trend because people are constantly trying to get on it. But it's like, if you have self-respect, you know, okay, if I'm a person that's different, I'm going to actually just be my different self. And people are going to gravitate to it. People are going to pick up on it. People are going to mimic it. They're going to be like it. I mean, yeah, people may mock you, and that's disrespectful. But ultimately, when people want to mimic a good behavior or a good pattern that you evoke, like, it's a lot of times just because they may be trying to understand how to evolve in their own soul. So I just don't, like I said, I just personally don't have time to pay attention to, oh, who doing what I said I was doing, or like whatever. While I'm doing my music, I'm enjoying my music. I make my own little genre, but that doesn't mean other people don't make genres up for themselves. Like, it is what it is. I'm not in competition with nobody but myself. So I don't have time to really understand another person's actions when they're disrespectful. But I do know that I've learned how to set boundaries to protect myself and my energy, and how to set the boundaries so that I can understand and see very fast when a person is intentionally trying to disrespect me, or trying to mock me, or trying to bring me down in any type of way. And one thing that is a major part of self-respect is learning how to not be your biggest enemy. Be your biggest fan. Be your biggest supporter, because at the end of the day, with your self-respect, the more you love yourself and you support yourself, the more you'll fall in love with that part of your sacral chakra where you can reproduce more creative expressions, more creativity, and more great things for the people and for yourself, but for the people who will need to receive this part of your gift giving. So that's that. I'm going to wrap this up. I'll probably tap back on here. Like I said, this is mostly about respect, loyalty, and solidity. So y'all definitely have the right to, you know, comment, say what you guys say, how you feel about this under this post. But we all have our understanding of what respect is and what the worth of giving somebody trust of being loyal and knowing and recognizing solid people, right? So this is BreiEndia. I appreciate you all for joining in to this GoddessBE chat and G Self Unity, Peace, Love, and Truth. I send you all love and blessings for this beautiful day. And the challenge today is to just practice. Don't worry about the loyalty part yet, but, you know, practice being in your authenticity while learning to be respectful to yourself. So the affirmations you speak in the morning, add a respectful affirmation to yourself, and add a respectful affirmation to at least one other person in the world today. Even if it's just starting with somebody you personally know or the person you wake up next to. Start with just practicing the actions of respect today. And for the month of, you know, March, for women, I challenge you to be kind to each other and say and speak nice things to one another. You know, my thing to women is you are beautiful and you are love. So that is all I have for you. And I send you all my love. And like I said, this is orange. I'm in my orange vibe today. You know what I'm saying? And a little bit. All right. So yeah, that's all I got for y'all. Bye.